Working on the BDST probe once more. Good afternoon, YouTube. Here with you at 1:07 now in the afternoon on a Saturday. I do have the RCA tablet booted up, and I think you can see what I'm looking at. That is my new probe design, board layout, I guess you would call it. Basically, it's the same thing except for with the 15Ks. And I've got the layout a little bit different because I thought I'd be creative. So that's what it's going to look like, or that's what it should look like, I should say. So that's what I'm shooting for, and I've got my soldering iron heating up. I think it's just about ready to go. Yep. So give me some solder over here, and I'm going to construct this thing and put it in the thing and see what happens. So stay tuned. Alright, there's what we have. It's now 1:45 in the afternoon. That's pretty much the same as the board. Let me show you the board. I'll pop the picture of the board up, and you can see that that's pretty much the same. Now let me show you the back side. It's looks pretty darn good. Got my coming out here. I've got my center probe. Center whatever, and here is my ground down on this side. So this will be connected to the ground, and that's the part I was missing. Bob had to point that out, so I forgot to connect that when I was putting on this on the outside. But what I think I'm going to do, done lost that now. I lose everything here. There's the probe. Carl pointed out that looked like a big syringe, and it does. It really does. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. By the way, if you hear a noise, fan running, that's a heater underneath my bench. Here's the what I was talking about. This here is going to be the ground connector. And I want to do this like Bill was talking about, but I'm going to have to put a hole in the top here, or cap, what do you want to call that, and run the wire from there to the board here, connect to that wire right there. Here you go, right there. And again, this one will connect similarly like that. And I'll do the other one first. That would give me a little leeway to solder this one in. But basically, that's how it's going to fit. And now the other end, I haven't put the actual probe wire on, but this is where it will attach, right here, and it will stick out this way. Now the probe itself, if you take this little cap off, you'll notice that there is a hole right there. You can see it, and that goes straight down through the middle of the probe, and the wire will stick up out of that. That's the plan anyway, and I think it will allow me to, once I solder these in as I want to, like this, it will allow me to turn this inside the tube so that no wires are actually see, I can turn that real easily. So no wires are actually twisted or anything like that. The two wires that are soldered on this end should hold this steady enough, I think, that it won't twist. And I can, you know, I won't have to do that until I get down there, but that's how far it has to be. So let me see how this is going to fit. So you can see, as I twist, that's where it's going to end up at, right there. So as I twist, that should allow that wire to turn around in that hole, because I'm not going to have the cap on until I get the whole thing done. And that should work, let it work out just fine. And then once I have everything in place, I can put this back on, bend the wire over a little bit, and let it come down against that to where it holds that in there. And that's what holds the wire to the probe. You just tighten that up, and once you get it tight, It's a good solid connection there, and good solid connection at the other end, and that should do it. So that's the tricky part, if there is such a thing. Now, when we have the boards done, it'll just be it'll be the same basic procedure, but like I say, it probably won't have a notch here. I'm not really sure if Bob put the notch in there or if he even went that far with it. May have made it shorter. I don't really remember how he did it, and whichever way he did it, we'll be able to fix it. So first thing I want to do is tighten this BNC connector. The last time I did this with that probe over there, the one on the, when I had the BNC on it, I didn't tighten that down very good, and it started twisting every time I would connect the cable, and I don't want that to happen with this one. So again, we will tighten this down really good, and then I will drill my holes and run my wires and things like that. But like I said, this board can be attached to this first, and once it's done that way, we can, like I said, this way is where it'll go. And once it's done like that, then it's just a matter of screwing it in and putting the other wire on. I'll put the other wire on first, obviously. But anywho, that's you guys are seeing or not seeing what I'm seeing, I guess. But anyway, that's pretty much a look at it. I think that's going to do me. By now you guys have probably seen the previous video that I made in the car. Now that's the last one I'm going to do of that for a while. What I'm going to do next is put this camera here on the passenger side windshield and point it at the driver and see how that works out. I want to basically, I'm trying to get some levels in my to see how they work out as far as picking up my voice and things like that. This camera seems to work much better than the ZE1 in the car like that. The ZE1 seems a little more sensitive and picks up more road noise and stuff like that than this does. And because this was closer to me, I think that's why it picked up so good. So I want to put it over on the other side of the car, on the passenger side on the windshield, and see what the difference is. Also, I'm going to switch it from macro to standard mode and see how that works out. So that's just a couple of the things I'm doing here as far as you know what I'm saying, just get everything hooked up and ready to go here. And so I'm hoping that will allow me to do what I need to do. And also at the same time, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I'm doing some settings in VideoPad, and I'm recording where the windows are for the picture-in-picture, so I will know, instead of having to move the picture up each time I put a picture-in-picture. What's the first thing I do is scale it to the size I want. These last ones were 33%, and scale them that size, and then I would move it up to the corner, and that's a lot harder to do than just knowing what numbers to plug in on the side over here. And once I know the numbers, and I've got the upper left done, so I know what it's like for 33%. Now if I do a 25% or 50%, it would have to be different numbers, but I'm going to try to keep track of that. That way when I do a picture-in-picture, I just have to look at the chart, and I keep that on the computer, and I know instantly what numbers to plug in there and where it should go. And I'll do the same for the lower right corner and the lower left and the upper left. I'll do the same thing for all four corners. So that should help me out as far as my editing goes, and I'm happy about that. So, alright, that's going to do me for this video here. You guys, it is 1:53 now, so you guys have a pleasant day. I may not post this till Monday, I just haven't decided yet, but it may be on tomorrow, I don't know. I don't have anything planned as far as going anywhere until possibly Tuesday. Alexi said she would let me know if I need to pick her up from work and take her to get her daughter from the babysitter and stuff like that. And if that's the case, then I will do that. She did pay me some gas money, so I'm good to go on that stuff. And like I said, that's what we're doing. So you guys have a pleasant day. Thanks for watching, and we will see you. See ya!